My husband said, "Your promotion isn't a big deal. Anyone could get that position. Don't act proud." I replied, "All right." I didn't celebrate, but a week later at his company dinner, when the CEO recognized my contribution publicly, he lowered his eyes so fast his friends immediately stopped talking. I'm 34, been married for 6 years, and I work in tech consulting. My husband works at a pharmaceutical company in project management. We've always been competitive, but it was the fun kind. Or at least I thought it was until 3 weeks ago, when I got promoted to senior consultant. I came home on a Thursday evening around 7. I'd stayed late at the office because my boss wanted to go over the new responsibilities with me. I was excited. This promotion meant better pay, more interesting projects, and recognition for the 70-hour weeks I'd been putting in for the past year. I walked through the door holding a bottle of champagne I'd picked up on the way home. "Guess what?" I said, setting the bottle on the kitchen counter. He was chopping vegetables for dinner. Didn't look up. "What?" "I got the promotion, senior consultant. They announced it today." He paused for a second, then continued chopping. "Oh, that's nice." Nice. That was it. I stood there waiting for something more. A hug, a smile, anything. He just kept chopping. "I thought maybe we could celebrate," I said, gesturing to the champagne. He finally looked up. "Your promotion isn't a big deal. Anyone could get that position. Don't act proud." The knife hit the cutting board with a sharp thwack. I felt like I'd been slapped. "What?" "I'm just being realistic. It's not like you made partner or something. You're a senior consultant. Congratulations, you're middle management now." He went back to the vegetables. "Besides, I'm tired. I don't feel like celebrating." I picked up the champagne and put it in the fridge. All right. That was it. I didn't argue, didn't defend myself. I just went upstairs, changed out of my work clothes, and came back down for dinner. We ate in near silence. He talked about his day, some project that was giving him trouble, his annoying coworker. I listened, said the appropriate things. Inside, I felt hollow. That night, lying in bed, I stared at the ceiling while he slept next to me. 6 years of marriage, and this is what my achievement got me. Dismissal. Belittlement. I thought about all the times I'd celebrated his wins, the project launch, his own promotion last year, even the small stuff, like when he finished a difficult presentation. I'd always been there, champagne in hand, telling him how proud I was. Update 1. The next week was tense. I didn't bring up the promotion again. At work, my colleagues congratulated me. We went out for drinks on Friday. They asked why my husband wasn't there. I made up an excuse about him being busy. The truth was, I hadn't invited him. What was the point? On Tuesday evening, he came home and tossed an envelope on the counter. "We need to go to this." I picked it up. An invitation to his company's annual dinner. Black tie event, some fancy hotel downtown. It was scheduled for Saturday. "Do I have to?" I asked. "Yes, you have to. Everyone brings their spouse. It would look weird if you didn't come." "Fine." He looked at me strangely. "What's with the attitude?" "No attitude. I said I'd go." He opened his mouth like he wanted to say something, then closed it and went to the bedroom. Saturday arrived. I put on my dress. He wore a tailored suit. We drove to the hotel in silence. The ballroom was full of people from his company. Executives, managers, staff. I recognized a few faces from previous events. We sat at a table with some of his colleagues and their partners. Everyone was polite, making small talk. I smiled and nodded, played the supportive wife. About an hour into the dinner, after the meal was served, the CEO stood up to give a speech. He talked about company achievements, thanked various departments, the usual corporate stuff. I was barely paying attention, just moving food around my plate. Then he said something that made me sit up straight. I also want to take a moment to recognize some external contributions that made a significant impact on our operations this year, specifically the consulting work done for our digital transformation project. My husband's company had been one of my major clients for the past 8 months. I'd led the team that overhauled their entire project management system. It was the reason I got promoted, actually. But my husband and I had an unspoken rule about not mixing our professional lives. He knew I worked with his company, but we never discussed the details. The CEO continued. "The lead consultant on that project delivered exceptional work. I believe she's actually here tonight as a guest." He looked around the room. "Is she here?" The colleague sitting next to my husband suddenly pointed at me. "That's her." The CEO smiled. "Would you mind standing? I'd like to thank you publicly." I stood up slowly. Every eye in the room turned toward me. The CEO started clapping, and the entire ballroom erupted in applause. He went on for another minute about how the new system had improved their efficiency by 40%, how my team had been professional and innovative, how they'd already recommended us to their parent company. I glanced at my husband. His face had gone completely still. He was staring at his plate, shoulders tight. His friends at the table were looking between us, confused. One of them leaned over and whispered something to him. He didn't respond. The CEO wrapped up and I sat back down. The table was silent for a beat. Then everyone started talking at once. "You never mentioned you were working with our company," one colleague said. "That project was incredible," another added. "You led that?" My husband's closest friend at work looked at him. "You knew about this, right?" My husband finally lifted his head. I knew she did consulting work. I didn't know the details. "But this is huge," the friend pressed. "The CEO never publicly thanks external consultants. This is a massive deal." My husband's jaw clenched. He picked up his wine glass and took a long drink. He didn't look at me, didn't say congratulations, just sat there while his colleagues praised me, while people from other tables came over to shake my hand, while his boss stopped by to tell me they'd be requesting me specifically for future projects. When the CEO mentioned the 40% efficiency improvement, my husband lowered his eyes so fast that his friends immediately stopped talking. They noticed. Everyone at that table noticed. The car ride home was silent. Not the comfortable kind. The kind where you can feel anger radiating off someone, but they won't say anything because they know they're wrong. We got home around midnight. He went straight to the bedroom. I stayed downstairs, poured myself a drink, and sat in the dark living room. About 20 minutes later, he came back down. "Why didn't you tell me?" he said. "Tell you what?" "That you were leading that project. That it was such a big deal." I took a sip of my drink. "You knew I worked with your company. You never asked for details." "You could have mentioned it." "Why? So you could tell me it wasn't a big deal? That anyone could have done it?" I looked at him. "Like you did with my promotion." He flinched. "That's different." "How?" I was having a bad day. I didn't mean it the way it came out." "You told me not to act proud. You said my promotion was nothing special. And tonight, when your CEO publicly thanked me in front of 300 people, you couldn't even look at me. That's not fair." "What's not fair is that I've spent 6 years celebrating every single one of your achievements. And the one time I accomplish something significant, you tear it down." I stood up. "Your friends noticed, by the way, at the table. They saw how you reacted or didn't react." His face went red. "What are you talking about?" "You lowered your head the second the CEO praised my work. Your friend asked if you knew about it, and you could barely put a sentence together. Everyone saw it." "You're being dramatic." "Am I? Because from where I'm standing, it looked like you were embarrassed that your wife got recognition at your company event. Like it bothered you that people were congratulating me instead of you." He opened his mouth, closed it, opened it again. I just wasn't expecting it. Neither was I, but I would have handled it better if the roles were reversed. I walked past him and went upstairs. I slept in the guest room that night. Update 3. The next morning, Sunday, he was already up when I came downstairs. He'd made coffee and was sitting at the kitchen table with his laptop. "We need to talk," he said. I poured myself coffee and sat across from him. "Okay. I've been thinking about what you said, about how I reacted to your promotion." He paused. "Maybe I wasn't as supportive as I should have been. Maybe I wasn't. I know I wasn't." He closed his laptop. "The truth is, I was jealous. You got promoted, and I've been passed over twice in the past year. It's not fair of me to take that out on you, but that's what I did." I didn't say anything. I let him continue. "And last night, when the CEO thanked you, I felt like everyone was looking at me, judging me, like they were thinking, her wife did this huge project for the company, and she didn't even know about it. It made me look bad." "So your concern is how it made you look?" "No, that's not—" He stopped himself. "Okay, yes, partially. But also, I felt stupid. Like I should have known. Like I should have been involved somehow. I kept work separate because I thought that's what we wanted. We never talk about the details of our jobs with each other. That was always the rule." "I know." He rubbed his face. "I'm not making excuses. I'm just trying to explain. Dismissing your promotion, acting weird at the dinner. It was wrong. I'm sorry." I stared at my coffee. The apology felt necessary but not sufficient. Like he was sorry because he got caught, because his friends noticed, not because he actually understood what he'd done to me. "Do you even know why I got that promotion?" I asked. "Because of the project with my company. Because I worked 70-hour weeks for 8 months straight. Because I sacrificed weekends and evenings. Because I proved I could lead a team and deliver results under pressure. It wasn't given to me. I earned it." "I know that." Do you? Because when I told you about it, you said anyone could get that position. Like it was nothing. Like I was nothing. He looked down. I'm sorry doesn't erase how that felt, I said. You're my husband. You're supposed to be the person who's proudest of me, who celebrates my wins. Instead, you made me feel like my achievement didn't matter. Silence stretched between us. What do you want me to do? He asked quietly. I want you to understand that this isn't just about jealousy or having a bad day. This is about respect, about partnership. We're supposed to build each other up, not tear each other down. You're right. And I want you to figure out why you couldn't just be happy for me. Because if you can't be happy when good things happen to me, what kind of marriage do we have? He didn't have an answer. Update 4. Over the next few weeks, things were strange between us. He tried harder, acknowledged when I worked late, asked about my projects, even suggested we go out to celebrate my promotion properly. We went to dinner, a nice place downtown. He toasted me, said all the right things, but it felt performative, like he was checking boxes. The real shift came about a month after the dinner. He came home one evening looking exhausted. Bad day? I asked. My friend from work, the one who sat next to me at the dinner, asked me if everything was okay between us. I waited. He said everyone at our table noticed how I acted when the CEO thanked you, how I didn't congratulate you, didn't seem happy. He wanted to make sure we weren't having problems. He sat down heavily. I told him everything was fine, but he didn't believe me. He said it was obvious I was uncomfortable with your success and that it didn't look good. He's not wrong, he said quietly. I know. And it made me realize something. I've been so focused on my own career, on my own achievements, that I turned into someone who can't celebrate anyone else's wins, even yours, especially yours. Because you're the person closest to me, and that means your success somehow feels like my failure. That's a messed up way to see a marriage. I know. He looked at me. I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be the husband who resents his wife for doing well. That's not who I thought I was. So what are you going to do about it? I started seeing a therapist. Had my first session yesterday. He paused. I think I have some issues with self-worth tied to my career. When things don't go the way I planned professionally, I spiral. And instead of dealing with it, I lash out at the people around me. I nodded slowly. That's a good start. I know an apology isn't enough. I know I hurt you, but I want to fix this. I want to be better. I want that too. We sat there for a while without saying anything. It wasn't fixed, not even close, but it felt like we were finally having an honest conversation about the real problem. Update 5. 2 months after the dinner incident, something unexpected happened that changed everything. I got a call from the CEO of my husband's company. He wanted to meet for coffee, just the two of us. I agreed, curious about what he wanted. We met at a place near his office on a Wednesday morning. He ordered black coffee and got straight to the point. I wanted to talk to you about something personal, he said. It's about your husband. My stomach dropped. What about him? After that dinner where I thanked you publicly, I started noticing things. The way he interacts with his team. The way he responds when others get recognition. He's talented, no question, but there's a pattern of behavior that's concerning. He went on to explain that several team members had complained about my husband being dismissive when they achieved something. One junior employee had been in tears after my husband minimized her successful project presentation. Another colleague mentioned snide comments about someone else's promotion. I'm telling you this because I think he needs help, the CEO said, and because what happened at that dinner, the way he reacted to your success, it made me realize this isn't just a work problem. It's deeper than that. I sat there processing. What are you going to do? I asked. I've already spoken to him, told him he needs to work on his team dynamics or it'll affect his career progression. But I wanted you to know because, well, if he's doing this at work, I imagine it's happening at home too. He was right. And suddenly, I understood why my husband had been passed over for promotion twice.